Oh, but
what you got for us today,
well, no,
Jason?
they probably would have had him like they've had others when they're shorter. They stand on a little pedestal, a little thing behind the podium, so they can't see, but they're still elevated. So you probably
Yeah,
would
they
still
would have
get
given
that
those
effect.
little
Yeah.
step stool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, like
Shout
when you
out to
go to the
Mark
doctor's
Zuckerberg.
office, you
Something
doctors
like
know
that.
those little step stools look like.
The pediatrician's office.
Exactly. Well, a new bill by Republican lawmakers would change Ohio's marijuana law. The race is on to alter Ohio's marijuana law before it goes into effect on Thursday. Representative Gary Click, Republican from Vickery, recently introduced House Bill 341, which would change how the revenue funds would be allocated and allow municipalities to ban marijuana dispensaries and home grow. Ohioans passed Issue 2 with 57% of the vote, which legalizes and regulates the cultivation, manufacturing, testing, and the sale of marijuana to Ohioans 21 and up. It also legalizes home grow for Ohioans 21 and up with a limit of 6 plants per person and 12 plants per resident, and emphasizes a 10% tax at the point of sale of each transaction. What's in the bill, you ask? Well, this bill wipes out an entire section of the law that prohibits municipalities from banning home grow marijuana use and levying special taxes or fees on marijuana businesses. Issue 2 creates 5 funds in the state treasury: the Adult Use Tax Fund, the Cannabis Social Equity and Jobs Fund, the Host Community Cannabis Fund, the Substance Abuse and Addiction Fund, and the Division of Cannabis Control and Tax Commissioner Fund. It's a lot of funds going on. HB 341 would split the substance abuse funds in two: the Substance Abuse Research and Education Fund and the Substance Abuse Addiction and Recovery Fund. It would also add Law Enforcement Cannabis Training Fund. Because of the revenue alterations, the bill changes how the funds would be allocated. Instead of 36% going to both the Cannabis Social Equity Jobs Fund and the Host Community Cannabis Fund, the bill proposes cutting each down to 19.4%. Issue 2 allocates 25% of the Substance Abuse and Allocation Fund, but HB 341 proposes 19.4% go towards the Substance Abuse Research and Addiction Education Fund. Click's bill allocates 19.4% to both Substance Abuse Addiction and Recovery Fund and the Law Enforcement Cannabis Training Fund. In a quote, "We are going to respond to every single bill that gets proposed, but we are monitoring and watching what's going on in the General Assembly," said Tom Herron, a spokesperson for the Coalition to Regulate Marijuana Like Alcohol, the group behind Issue 2. What other Ohio Republicans are saying is ever since Issue 2 passed, Republicans haven't been shy about wanting to make changes to the proposed marijuana law. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine said he continues to have discussions about Issue 2 with Senate President Matt Hoffman, Republican from Lima, and House Speaker Jason Stevens, Republican from Kitts Hill. In a quote, he says, "I think we're going to see some action shortly," DeWine told reporters Wednesday afternoon. And DeWine previously said he has 3 main priorities he wants to address: guardrails for children, tax policy, and safety on the roads. The governor also previously said he wants lawmakers to come on agreement before the law goes into effect on Thursday. Good luck with that. And when asked about Click's bill, Stevens said he hasn't looked at the bill's details, and in quotes, "There's a lot of different ideas," he told reporters Wednesday. "As I've mentioned before, it's an important issue. We want to make sure we have that fully vetted." He wasn't sure if a marijuana reform bill would make it to the House floor next week, and in quotes, he says, "I think we're coalescing around some ideas that you can gain the support of the majority of the House," Stevens says. What those in detail are will hopefully come out sooner rather than later, he says. Well, it sounds like they're going to change some of the will of the voters out there in Ohio, and I wonder if any of these politicians will actually face any type of electoral consequences come around this next election time because of this. I seriously doubt they will, but nonetheless, I'm going to digress and see what y'all have to say. This is Jason Beck for the High at 9 News. What do y'all think?
I think that Representative Gary Click is still pissed off that they lost to the Wolverines on Saturday, and he's taking it out on the people. Just saying.
Just saying. I mean, what do you two doctors think? You think that they should be changing these tax structures and all this after a voted on by the will of the people?
Well,
if they under go ahead.
Go ahead, Dr. T.
I'm not a legal expert, so it's hard to comment on. But there it seems like they just got a bounty with this new law, and they're trying to divide it up and see who gets what. But I am in favor of anything that helps improve research. The only problem is the studies on driving. There's no evidence that driving with cannabis is causing problems. So I think they're wasting money by trying to direct it to that.
I have plenty of evidence, Dr. T, that driving while on cannabis doesn't cause problems.
Well,
I did a study
yeah,
last night.
I agree.
I have miles upon miles of no traffic violations or citations and whatnot.
Recorded.
So, yeah.
in a controlled environment.
Yeah, I was controlled in the car, controlling the wheel and the gas pedal and the brake, maybe the clutch.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this
I don't know why they invent problems. Exactly.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on this, Dr. Mark?
Well, I was just going to reiterate what we always talk about here on High at 9, which is that anything that favors the trap market is, a step in the wrong direction. And certainly, like you've always said, Jason, we need to be working on lowering taxes on legalized cannabis, not on, putting more taxes in there. All that said, I know that there's a lot of information recently about people using breathalyzers and whatnot, or saliva tests, or some type of body fluid or something like that. And until they correlate those data to driver impairment in a statistically significant swath of the population of users, it's all just meaningless bullshit. Now, they did that with alcohol, and we know what level of alcohol you are now driving impaired. Haven't done that with cannabis, and until they do that, like you said, Jason, we're not actually sure, and like Dr. Talleyrand has reiterated, we're not exactly sure whether or not cannabis really impairs the driver as much as it just maybe changes the way that they interact with their environment and changes their awareness. Like they could see a stop sign clearer because they're paying attention more. But, this has to be borne out in statistical data that's statistically significant. And until that study is done, this is just all bullshit.
Well, it does impair driving. I mean, it's clear that it impairs driving, but it doesn't cause accidents. That's really the bottom line. Yeah, you drive slower, you don't have a quicker response time, but you're not getting into accidents, and so they're looking for trouble where there isn't.
Well, that's the thing.
I propose the National Highway Transportation Institute should.
I want to participate in that.
They should implement a HOW lane, high on weed lane, so all the high drivers can just drive slow in their own shit, separated from the rest of the people. There you go. Problem solved. Rico for president. Let's go.
Oh boy. Oh boy. I'll tell you what, I would definitely want to participate in a study like that. And Dr. T, they have had a couple studies about that, but I believe all the studies actually show that that people while driving on cannabis use more caution. They are less apt to speed when on cannabis, and they're more likely to stop a little bit longer at a stop sign.
Not
and
aggressive
so,
at all.
very non-aggressive habits, as opposed to alcohol, which gives you very aggressive habits, has you speed and whatnot, running stop signs and whatnot. And so I think intoxications, what happens afterwards from intoxication should be more of the conversation as opposed to actual intoxication. Because if we want to talk about intoxication, if we want to talk about intoxicants, we could be talking about caffeine as an intoxicant as well. And and all of that, and so there's tons of different substances there's tons of different substances we put into our bodies every day that are normal that all technically could fall under these same categories.
The question is, does your morning coffee cause accidents?
I mean, if you hold on, if you spill
Los
it,
Angeles, I would say yes.
If you're
all the accidents each morning here.
Hold on, Dr. T, you don't remember back in the day that lady that got that hot cup of McDonald's coffee and put it between her legs and then drove off and spilled it on her legs and sued McDonald's for having the coffee too hot?
I vaguely remember that.
She got paid big time. She got big M's from McDonald's for that, and they changed their whole policy on their hot coffee after that.
What, they made it less hot?
They did. They did make it less
Oh,
hot.
wow.
Yep. You got
And
colder
that's
coffee
why
from
they have like
McDonald's now.
the caution. That's why
Yep,
the
they got the caution on
signs
there.
it
They
now.
give you a lid now with a
Yeah.
little spill-proof little dippy thingy and all kinds of stuff now.
Mhm.
Just like Starbucks.
I think we need to consult with McDonald's. They have
Yep. Not to mention they
they
have
got the answer.
not to mention they have the cocaine license, Rico.
I thought it was Coca-Cola.
Oh, that is Coca-Cola.
McDonald's.
Sorry. My bad. Whoops. Oh well.